Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're tackling one of the most universal, downright sleep-depriving struggles in supply chain management, that high-stakes balancing act between preserving your company's capital and ensuring you actually have the materials you need exactly when you need them. I mean, just imagine a massive warehouse floor for a second. Every single box, pallet, and raw materials sitting there represents cash. Cash that is completely tied up, unable to be used anywhere else in your business. But on the flip side, if you don't have those materials, production halts, and you can't sell a thing. It's a massive dilemma. Okay, let's dive into this. How can businesses actually reduce their working capital without interrupting that crucial material availability? Because, if you ask a finance manager, they want inventory at zero to free up cash flow. If you ask a production manager, they want the warehouse completely overflowing so a line literally never goes down. They rarely agree on anything. But bridging that massive gap is exactly what matters to modern supply chain managers today. And the software solution that elegantly solves this problem? Well, that is exactly what we're going to unpack right now. So here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with 1, the supply chain dilemma. Then 2, defining SAP Consignment. Next, we'll walk through 3, the 5-step process, look at 4, benefits and hidden challenges, and wrap up with 5, strategic digital transformation. All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the supply chain dilemma, balancing act. Businesses today are under immense pressure to optimize cash flow, but they know even a minor delay in production or sales can be catastrophic. This right here is the primary bottleneck for large enterprises. This dual challenge, reducing working capital while guaranteeing uninterrupted material availability, is honestly like trying to drive a car really fast while simultaneously trying to save gas. It just feels like a total contradiction. Traditional procurement models often force you to choose one or the other. You either buy in bulk and tie up millions in cash, or you buy just in time and risk devastating stockouts if a supplier is even a day late. What we really need is a targeted software solution that allows us to bypass this compromise entirely. Moving right along to Section 2, defining SAP Consignment, the shift in ownership. Now, what's really interesting about this concept is where the magic actually happens. SAP Consignment is this brilliant procurement model where suppliers place the goods right there at your premises, in your own warehouse, but they retain ownership until those goods are consumed. I really want to emphasize that crucial nuance here. You, the buyer, possess the goods. They are physically sitting on your floor, ready to be used at a moment's notice. But the supplier still owns them. You only pay for them based on agreed-upon settlement cycles once you actually consume them. It completely changes the financial dynamic. Let's break down the key features that make this tick within SAP. First up, like we just mentioned, is supplier ownership until usage. Second is the special stock category. SAP is incredibly smart here. It tracks this consignment stock entirely separately from your regular owned stock. This brilliantly gives you ultimate inventory visibility without throwing that financial liability onto your balance sheet. Third, we have flexible transfers. You can actually move this stock across different plants or company codes without triggering an ownership change. And finally, consumption-based settlement. The clock on your liability literally only starts ticking the exact second you withdraw those goods for use. This model is an absolute game changer, specifically for industries dealing with highly fluctuating or totally unpredictable demand. Think about manufacturing, where parts are needed instantly but demand can just wildly spike. Or retail, where seasonal trends change almost overnight. Or even pharmaceuticals, where supply simply cannot run out, but the ingredients are ridiculously expensive. If demand in these sectors suddenly drops, you aren't left holding the bag on millions of dollars of raw, unused inventory that you've already paid for. Which brings us to Section 3, the 5-step process, requisition to settlement. So, how does this actually work inside the software? Well, we're going to follow the chronological journey of a single batch of goods right through the SAP system. Here is your high-level SAP blueprint. It happens in 5 distinct steps. Step 1, purchase requisition. Step 2, generate the purchase order. Step 3, post the goods receipt. Step 4, monitor the stock. And Step 5, settle on consumption. It looks pretty simple on the surface, right? But there are some critical micro-narratives and specific configurations within these steps that actually make the whole consignment model possible. The whole journey kicks off with the purchase requisition. Now, this can be triggered completely manually by a user or completely automatically via MRP, Materials Requirements Planning. But here is the absolute crucial technical trigger you must know. The item has to be marked with item category K. In SAP language, K stands for consignment. That single tiny flag tells the entire system to treat this workflow completely differently than a standard purchase. As we roll into steps 2 and 3, generating the PO and posting the goods receipt, we hit a surprising fact that very often confuses new SAP users. When you generate the purchase order for consignment, there is literally no price entered. None. And when the truck arrives and you post the goods receipt into your warehouse, the stock remains completely unvaluated. Why? Well, because you haven't bought it yet. It physically enters your consignment stock, but financially, it is basically a ghost. So the crucial point is how SAP handles steps 4 and 5. Even though the stock is an unvaluated ghost, SAP gives you full, crystal clear visibility by monitoring that consignment stock right down to the specific storage location level. You always know exactly what you have. Then comes the moment of truth, step 5. When you finally withdraw that item to use it on the manufacturing floor, boom! That withdrawal action in SAP automatically generates the liability. That is the exact moment you owe the supplier, and SAP just seamlessly processes that supplier settlement based on your agreed cycle. All right, let's get real in section 4. Benefits and hidden challenges, weighing the trade-offs. I really want to play honest broker here because while the benefits are absolutely massive, you need to objectively understand the system's complexities to use it effectively. Let's look at this comparison. On the benefits side, the financial relief is just incredible since you're only paying after consumption. Your inventory control is vastly improved through special stock visibility, and you have awesome flexibility across your sites. It even strengthens supplier trust because it builds a deeply collaborative relationship. But look at the challenges. The configuration complexity is no joke. You have to perfectly set up purchasing info records and consignment flags. As we mentioned, that no price MPO setup can definitely confuse your procurement team early on. And here is a massive limitation to remember: stock conversion. Once you convert consignment stock into your own stock in the system, it is a one-way street. You absolutely cannot revert those goods back to consignment stock later. You bought it, you own it. Let's move to our final piece, section 5, strategic digital transformation, expert implementation. Navigating all those complexities we just talked about really requires some expertise. Implementing this isn't just about flipping a switch in SAP. This is exactly where a partner like Rasta Infotech comes in. They don't just configure the basic process. They leverage advanced integration capabilities. We're talking configuring processes aligned with industry best practices so you completely avoid those stock conversion pitfalls. They build out these incredible digital dashboards so executives have real-time visibility into exactly how much consignment stock is on hand versus owned stock. They optimize those settlement cycles to completely remove financial bottlenecks. And incredibly, they're even integrating consignment with warehouse automation and AI-powered solutions to achieve predictive inventory management. The AI actually helps predict exactly when you'll need to consume the stock, syncing up flawlessly with your settlement cycles. The core thesis of today's explainer is captured perfectly in this quote: transform consignment from a tactical procurement model into a strategic advantage. By leveraging the right digital transformation partner, this completely ceases to be just an accounting trick or a neat software feature. It becomes a fundamental, powerful way to unlock efficiency, slash costs, and build a highly resilient, deeply integrated supplier network. Which leaves us with one final big thought to reflect on today. Take a hard look at your own operations and working capital strategies. Is your supply chain resilient enough and digitally integrated enough to turn procurement from a standard cost center into your absolute biggest strategic advantage? Look, if you're out there tying up millions in unconsumed inventory, it just might be time to start thinking about that K flag in SAP. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep asking the right questions, and I'll catch you in the next one.